So from one team who is consistently underachieving to one who finally just kind of hit their mark last season in Tennessee, I was really impressed with what they were able to do, man. And then obviously Josh Heupel gets the extension. It comes out today their AD's getting an extension. How close do you think the Volunteers are right now, especially I would say more so in the East, kind of catching up to Georgia, because that's what you're going to have to get past first. I mean, it's got to be a significant gap, but they're making the right strides, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think they're absolutely making the right strides. And locking down Josh Heupel now, I think it helps with just you can no longer make the negative pitch against Tennessee. If you were making it in the beginning of, hey, will Josh Heupel take a job at Oklahoma? Do you think the NFL wants him? Like now it's, no, Josh Heupel's going to stay. He's going to be uninterrupted in building this program. And there's a lot to be excited about. In terms of the gap against Georgia, I think it's got to be the recruiting trail. Like that's got to be where they make up their ground. They can do a lot in the portal, but I mean, Georgia doesn't really go in the portal because they don't really have to. Like their second stringer, their third stringer is better than whatever the option that's available on the market. So yeah, I mean, the task now is, okay, can you stack some classes that are in that top 10, top 5 range? Like that's now where you have to build, and especially in the trenches. Like we all saw what happened on national television. It was PG-13, what Georgia was doing at TCU, and a lot of it was trench warfare. Like we're going to run downhill, we're going to play in the box, and that's going to be how we live because our big human beings are just superior to your big human beings. We don't have to change anything there. So that was it to me.
It was like in the SEC title game when Carter picked up Jalen Daniels, but for an entire game.
I still hurt my soul.
That was one of those things that like will definitely get a painting or a picture or something that's going to like
somebody got a tattoo of that.
Like, it was just the microcosm of what Georgia was doing that game and that season.
So I thought it was interesting when you look at that game, and I think it was at halftime in the Natty when you have Pollock talking about how Georgia is now taking over, and Nick Saban is literally sitting right beside him. And I think a lot of cause really goes to the lack of production offensively they had, which now Bill O'Brien's out the door. Where do you see Saban transitioning and bringing? Who do you see his main candidate coming in as being the OC?
It's a great question. I've been trying to find out myself, like trying to get on the phone with different people that are close to Alabama or cover Alabama, and they're like, "Hey, man, they're keeping it hush hush." One thing that is being said though is Nick Saban's not overly worried, which I don't know if I would really expect Nick Saban to be worried about much as he is Nick Saban. But the thought around that was, hey, we're Alabama. We have a ton of talent. People are going to want to come and coach here. Like we're not going to have to do this big national surge and just hit up the phone lines and try and get our guy. Like we're going to have a fair share of people to pick from. The other thoughts around that are that they would like to have somebody that will help them become more balanced. Get back to kind of classic Alabama. We're going to set the tone running the football, and then also have somebody who can help coach quarterbacks as well, because Bill O'Brien was the quarterback coach. So a couple of themes that are developing here. I just kind of called my shot in our live show yesterday, as it sounds like nobody really has a great feel. So I'm like, hey, how about Joe Brady? Like Joe Brady, currently quarterback coach with the Bills. I mean, ran it up against Alabama when he was over at LSU as the passing game coordinator. Will he want to recruit is, I guess, the question. But Joe Brady, to me, would make a ton of sense. I think it was Thamel who also said this on Feinbaum's show, second Thamel reference, I guess, for everybody keeping track at home. But he said, I think that similar to what we saw against Texas A&M in like 2012 when Johnny Manziel lit it up, and it was kind of this realization of, oh, Alabama's old formula of we're just going to line up and power I and do what we do, like that kind of style doesn't necessarily translate as much. I think we may have seen the same kind of moment this past year when they lost to Tennessee, and Josh Heupel are lining out wide and going with tempo and kind of taking that next step in modern college football. I think that could be the flavor that we see this next Alabama offense look like. Jeff Levy's name comes up a lot too, but I don't know if I'm not sold on that so much, but we'll see. I like Joe Brady. I'm gonna cast my vote for Joe Brady officially.
He is JD PicKell. He is the man at On3. You can find him on Twitter at JD PicKell. Man, we appreciate you jumping on today, man.